Good morning. A very warm welcome to this time for reflection, and I hope that we all will have a great time together and we will receive God's blessings through this time together. Today I'm going to read from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 19, first 10 verses. Jesus went on into Jericho and was passing through. There was a chief tax collector there named Zacchaeus, who was rich. He was trying to see who Jesus was, but he was a little man and could not see Jesus because of the crowd. So he ran ahead of the crowd and climbed a sycamore tree to see Jesus, who was going to pass that way. When Jesus came to that place, he looked up and said to Zacchaeus, "Hurry down, Zacchaeus, because I must stay in your house today." Zacchaeus hurried down and welcomed him with great joy. All the people who saw it started grumbling. "This man has gone as a guest to the home of a sinner." Zacchaeus stood up and said to the Lord, "Listen, sir, I will give half my belongings to the poor, and if I have cheated anyone, I will pay back 4 times as much." Jesus said to him, "Salvation has come to this house today, but this man also is a descendant of Abraham. The Son of Man came to seek and to save the lost." This is really very interesting story, and we have heard this story in Sunday school, and we have different hymns about Zacchaeus as well. When I read this story, I see few points in this person's life, in his character. There are few negative points and few very positive points. First negative point is that he was a tax collector, and in that time the tax collectors were famous for their corruption, cheating. They cheated people to earn more and more money, and they were called as sinners, as we have read in this text, that people said he is going to be a guest in a sinner's house. And the second negative thing, which was not in control of Zacchaeus, he couldn't control it, he couldn't do anything of it, that his height was very short. He was a short man. So when Jesus was passing by that road, because of his height, he couldn't see him. But the positive thing we see in Zacchaeus that he wanted to see Jesus. He wanted to see Jesus no matter what. His height was short. He couldn't see Jesus because of the crowd, but he was determined to see Jesus. So he just went along that road. He went ahead of that crowd and he climbed a tree. Chief tax collector. His rank was big, and it doesn't look nice if a civil servant of that status, that level, that standard, climbs a tree in front of a crowd. But he didn't even think about it. The one and only thing was in his mind, that he wanted to see Jesus, and nothing could stop him for doing this. His rank, his standard, his prestige, everything was just secondary things. The first thing, the primary thing was that he wanted to see Jesus, and that was his main intention. So he didn't bother about anything else. And one thing, another thing I can see in his character, that his height was short, and because of crowd, he couldn't see Jesus. So he had a great big excuse, a very genuine excuse, that he wanted to see Jesus, but because God has created him as a short man, so he can't see Jesus. He desperately wanted, but because God has created him as a short man, and that was a great big excuse for him, so he could just make that excuse, that, and it could go away, that I wanted to see Jesus, but because of this excuse, because of this thing, because of my height, I can't see Jesus, so I will just go away. No, he was determined to see Jesus. His intention was to see Jesus, so no excuse came in front of him. Not his rank, his prestige, his power, his standard, not his short height. He just went and climbed a big, huge tree, and he knew that Jesus was going to pass through that road. And when we went to the Holy Land, we went to Jericho, and we saw that tree. It was just along the way, on the side of the road, and that was the main entrance of Jericho. And he knew that Jesus is going to pass through that path or that road, and he climbed the tree. And Jesus had thousands of people around him, but Jesus noticed that one person who was climbing the tree. He knows from inside. He knows the intention of people. So Jesus asked him to come down, and I have to go to your house, and I have to stay with you. That was a big thing for Zacchaeus. He just came down and he took Jesus to his home. And he was so glad, so excited. And when Jesus entered into his home, everything changed. That man loved money. He was a corrupted man. But when Jesus entered into his house, everything changed. He said, I will give half of my belongings to the poor. And if I have cheated someone, I will give them 4 times as much. So that is the change. That was the change in that person who loved money, and he used to get money by all means, and he was a corrupt man. And when Jesus entered into his house, everything changed. And Jesus declared that salvation had come to that house. The entire house, the action of one person brought salvation to the entire house. That is the thing, that is the change, that is the difference. When Jesus enters into our lives, in our house, our preference changes. We start loving God and God's people. We start loving those people who are suffering, and we commit ourselves to help those people. This is really an exciting story, and this is the story of us. Most of the time, we have lots of excuses. We just make excuses and don't try to go to church. Don't try to read the Bible. Don't try to see Jesus in this nature. Things around us, people around us, we don't try to see Jesus. This person had a very big and genuine excuse. His height was short. He couldn't see Jesus because of crowd. But he made effort to see Jesus. And when he made that effort, Jesus can see our hearts. He can see our mind. He can see our intention. And when he did this, Jesus said to him, I must go to your house. And when Jesus entered into his house, everything changed. His life changed. His preference changed. And salvation came to his house. My brothers and sisters, if Jesus enters into our lives, into our houses, he can change everything. And he can bring salvation to us, to our children, to our entire family. Let's think about it. And that is examine ourselves. How desperate are we to see Jesus? How much effort we put to see Jesus? Are we just making excuses? Because this thing happened, we can't do this. Because that thing happened, I can't do this. Because I have to do that, I can't do this. But that person, a big civil servant, big officer, climbed a tree in front of crowd, and he had no embarrassment. His height was short, a big excuse, but he made effort, and he saw Jesus. He found Jesus, and Jesus went into his house, into his life, and everything changed. If we want the salvation for ourselves and for our families, we need to make effort to see Jesus. Let us close our eyes, and in a time of silence, let us examine ourselves. Let us ask ourselves, do we really want to see Jesus? Do we really want Jesus to come to our house and our heart and our family and change everything? Do we want his salvation for ourselves and for our entire household? In a time of silence, let us spend some time with God. If we feel that we make lots of excuses, examine our excuses. Are these excuses bigger than excuses Zacchaeus had? And if not, then let's make an effort to see Jesus, to find Jesus, and to ask him to come to our house, come into our heart, and change everything. May God bless us all. Amen. As I mentioned yesterday, that this will be our last daily reflection, but we will have weekly reflection every Wednesday at 11:30. And this is because we are reopening our churches for worship service, for private prayers, for times of reflection. So that is why we are just finishing this because we need more time and more effort to continue this along with our church services. So that's why all three ministers have decided that we will do a weekly reflection, but our churches are opening. This Sunday, Alberts Green Church is reopening for Sunday worship service at 10:30. So at 10:30 the church will start, and there will be a worship service in the church. And if you want to join us, you need to phone our session clerk, John Russell, on his landline number 483404. And as you know that according to the guideline and restrictions, we can only have 50 people, including me, in the church for worship service. So if you want to join us for Sunday service, please phone John Russell as soon as possible. I don't know how many people have already booked, but we just have one phone number so that there is no misunderstanding. So if you want to join us for Sunday worship service, you need to call John Russell. And also, Zetland Church is reopening this Sunday at 10:30 for private prayer or time for reflection. So if you want to join Zetland Church at 10:30, you need to call a phone number which Allison has provided to his members on her Facebook page. And she also produced a video, and she explained how you can come and how will you enter the church and which number you have to dial to book your place for reflection time and private prayer. And also Kirk of the Holy Rood is open now every Sunday from 2 till 3 for private prayer. So 2 p.m. till 3 p.m. for private prayer, Kirk of the Holy Rood. So you can join these churches. We will continue our Bible study every second Thursday on Zoom at 7 p.m. and our church quiz every second Thursday at 7 p.m. So these will continue, and also we will continue our joint service on this Grangemouth Church's Facebook page and Grangemouth Church's live YouTube channel. So you can enjoy that joint service which we record together, and you will watch that on Sunday. You can take part in that service. And I'm also doing a live streaming on Minister Abbots Grange Church Facebook page on Sunday morning from Abbots Grange Church. And we will just show the chancel part, and we will not show the congregation. So if you think that you don't want to appear on social media, so there is nothing to worry for you, because we will only show the chancel area as we showed when we did the live streaming for Roger Salveson's funeral. So just it is exciting time. I'm so excited that we are reopening church for a Sunday worship service, and I hope you are also excited for joining us at the church. So hope to see you on Sunday. All the best. Take care. Stay safe and healthy. God bless. Amen.